Cool. Let's go ahead and kick it off. Welcome so much to our community call. I'm Jamie, DevRel at OpenHands, and let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. So we have a GitHub org rename. I'm going to let Ray talk about this. This is pretty important, hence at the beginning.
Ray, I think you might be on mute.
Yeah, still can't hear you, Ray. We can come back if you want to add anything, but I'll go ahead and share what's on the slide. Oh, we can hear you now.
So I was going to pull up that lovely tracking issue linked at the bottom there, which is currently pinned. But, you know, you've done such a great job, actually, of capturing the key points on the slide that I almost don't have to. So we can just go right back there. Yeah, we are rebranding our GitHub organization to reflect the flagship open source product rather than the official company entity name. So where you did see all hands AI / OpenHands, you will see on GitHub OpenHands / OpenHands. GitHub is kind of nice about managing the redirect if you're just in the flow of doing, you know, git push, git pull, things like that. So for normal development work, you might not notice a difference. You should still update your remotes, and the issue explains how to do that. If you are relying on Docker images, the org change may not be as smooth there. You should probably be conscious about updating GHCR references there, and also same if you're using our Helm charts, you know, so which are also pulled from GHCR. That's GitHub's artifact repository. So then upshot here, if you notice anything of the nature of it couldn't pull a Docker image where it should, the org change may be resulting from that, and that's where you should go to the tracking issue and figure out what you might need to update if it's not obvious to you now. We're saying here the timing, Monday afternoon my time, but you can see that if you're interested in precisely when you might need to check. But generally, this should be just be aware if you see this kind of impact, you know what you probably need to do. It shouldn't be too disruptive depending on how you're using it. Any questions on that?
I think we're good. If you do have any questions, please drop them in the chat. I did drop the tracking issue in the chat and pinned it for latecomers, so feel free to reference that if you want the full details. Thank you so much, Ray, for going over that with us. And let's go ahead and move on. So we are welcoming new contributors for the last release. We have Yakshith K, Cacao Sis, Patil FR, Eddie Richer, AMD. These people made their first contribution in the last release, so thank you so much and hope to see you around. Which leads me to my next thing. So we do have contributor docs, and they are live now. These contributor docs will go over everything that you've ever wanted to know about how to start contributing to OpenHands, as well as our vision, as well as things you can build. And you can check this out further on your own time, which I will also drop this in the chat. So if you're a long-time lurker but interested in contributing, definitely recommend to give this doc a look. And speaking of that, we will have a contributor orientation monthly starting soon. So keep an eye out for that, either in our Slack or in our email updates. We'll be announcing that, as well as our Luma. It will be on Luma. And as we are finishing up in V1, good first issues will be coming back. So also keep an eye out for that. And it's a good place to get started.
Jamie, if people have things that they find confusing in the contributor guide. Not that it would be confusing. What's the best place to engage from there, or does it say within it?
It does say, which is our Slack. So I would say our Slack is the best place to get the answers you need. And our Slack is our entire community who's working on things, supposedly. And then also our entire engineering team is there as well as all of our maintainers. So the people who are doing the largest lifts and the most frequent work with OpenHands, they are going to be in the Slack. And I will have a link for you at the end of the presentation, but it's openhands.dev/joinslack, and that will be the most up-to-date Slack invite.
Yeah,
Thank you for asking, Ray.
I'm thinking specifically about improving the guide itself, rather than just like generally seeking help, which is what you answered well.
Yeah, if people wanted to improve the guide, I would say the best thing to do is create an issue and label it docs, and then be as descriptive as you can. And then I will keep an eye out for that and make sure that it gets resolved and reviewed. And then it does help if you @ me, Jamie Chicago 312 in GitHub, but also possibly ping me in Slack, because GitHub has a lot of notifications, so it can get pretty lost.
Yeah. So yeah, the docs label on the issues. Thank you.
You got it. All right, moving on, we have our project updates for our 0.590 release. We added support for a Lemonade provider. Thank you so much, Eddie Richter. And then we also have some fixes, improvement to the searching of repository, which may still be getting refined, fixing file ownership on mounted volumes, fixed prompt box resizing behavior, and also just a variety of UI bugs. And then this is something that I'm really excited about. CLI v1 is here. I've broken down the features and the fixes. We already have another release for the CLI, so we're on 1.0.1. And actually Rohit is here, and so I'm going to pass it off to him to talk more in depth about our CLI v1.
Hey folks, so the v1 CLI is pretty much at parity with the v0 CLI, but with a few new features that we're excited to introduce. One of them being this notion of an executable binary. So you can head over to our docs page, which has been updated. Note that we're having some problems with running CLI using UV because of our package management, but the binary executable is working as expected. We have a link to our release page, which will contain the binary. And to speed the demo process, I've already downloaded it and configured permissions on my Mac and so on. And this should allow you to run the CLI without needing pip or UV or any kind of package manager. So it's completely standalone. While this is coming up, it's important to note that there were some breaking changes with v1. So the most notable one would be your MCP server management. Previously, we used to use TOML and some kind of bespoke configuration format, and now we're using the sort of more typical industry standard, and you can learn more about that particular format by following our docs. And so now you just give us a JSON and pull your information from there. So yeah, it's up, and it's supposed to work as expected. And I can say, hey, OpenHands examined this project and give me 5 things you find confusing about the current architecture. And we're also pretty excited about the new UI. It's kind of been refreshed and looks a little more sleek than before. And yeah, we have parity, so the security analyzers are in place and whatnot. And yeah, if you have any problems using the CLI, please feel free to ping us or open GitHub issues. It's still like working out a couple of kinks here and there.
Quick question, Rohit. Is the UV package available, or is that still something that we have to push out?
We've published a PyPy package, which theoretically should work, but it's not working as expected. Particularly, we're having problems with like shared namespaces. So we have our OpenHands.SDK, which is the new agent SDK work that we're doing, which is conflicting with like the OpenHands like package name that we've released.
Okay, yeah, just good to know that we're working through that, addressing that issue.
Yeah, we hope to have it resolved early next week at the latest, I think. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Rohit, for presenting on this, doing so much work leading it. Thank you, Joe, for the good question. If anyone has any questions about the CLI, feel free to drop them in the chat or unmute. And if you think about them later, feel free to drop them in Slack or in GitHub issues if you run into anything, and we'll review that. All right, we have something else that's pretty exciting with our agent SDK. We now have automation features. So there's the ability for code review. You can now tag issues with review this, and OpenHands will review it for you. And then also we're having OpenHands review assignments and also perform reminders. So daily, OpenHands will be checking for stale PRs or PRs awaiting review, and then also PRs with assigned reviews. And if you would like to learn more, you can check out this PR. And I'm also gonna go ahead and just check in with Simon. Is there anything that you wanted to add for this?
No, thanks a lot. That's yeah, it's very exciting because the agent is really good at manipulating GitHub APIs. It can read the files, understand who wrote what, and it will assign a PR to the person who wrote the most code around what's been modified by the PR. So be careful of what you do, because yeah, if you do a lot of stuff, you will get a lot of PRs assigned to you. So be careful out there.
Very funny. But don't follow what Simon said. Continue to contribute, and we'll figure out if you're assigned too many PRs. Very cool. And then I went ahead and dropped the PR in the chat if you're interested in reviewing it further. And then that leads us to OpenHands V1 updates. I'm going to go ahead and kick it off to Robert to give us an update.
Hey folks, yeah, so the SDK is coming along well. We're making good progress there. I think still a little bit to do to get our eval pipeline totally working, but pretty close to being able to ship that. And then we've got a few changes in progress on the web server. We've got the initial code integrated, but still have some debugging to do around just like little edge cases around handling secrets and some other little bits that are left over. So hopefully we can get that done this week or next. But yeah, making really good progress on the March to V1.
All right, thank you so much, Robert, for that update. I will talk louder and see if that helps with the audio issue. Feel free to give me more feedback in the chat if possible. And then also, if you have any questions about V1 or the things that Robert just discussed, feel free to drop them in the chat or unmute yourself. But getting back to our slides, we have an update with DGX Spark from NVIDIA. and we have Jingyao joining us on the call. So I'll go ahead and pass it off to him to go ahead and give us an overview of this.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. I can I share my screen a bit? So yeah. So thanks to NVIDIA who gave us this early access sample for the NVIDIA DGX box. So it's essentially like a very small box. Actually, I can grab it right now. So it's just like this big. So it's a pretty lightweight machine, and then you can just run language models on it. And then in our experiments, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So in our experiment, what we do is like essentially the DGX comes with the Linux distribution, and then you just need to make sure that you install the NVIDIA Docker there. And then you can just run one Docker run command, and then it will automatically pull, for example, a Qwen 32 billion model to the machine. And then you can just simply use that machine to run any of your OpenHands workload. For example, you can use the OpenHands CLI by going to like an advanced LLM setting, and then put the local host as the base URL. And then you will be able to basically run OpenHands CLI with the language model that you self-hosted. And we have like a demo video in the blog, so people can check it out if they're interested. And the other fun thing you can do is like if you manage to expose this language model to the public internet, and then if you are subscribed to OpenHands Cloud, you can actually go to the settings tab in the OpenHands Cloud and then put your own language model into the base URL here. So essentially like all the data you send over to OpenHands Cloud will be routed to your own like desktop like DGX for processing. And the latency is actually quite good. So I don't feel I feel like it's as fast as Cloud if you're just running one conversation. So yeah, that's a quick summary of all the stuff around DGX.
Very cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. Like anything else we've discussed, if you have questions, feel free to unmute or drop them in the chat. And with that, we will actually go on to OpenHands Cloud updates. And I'm going to kick it off to Joe to talk more about this.
Hey, folks. Just wanted to share a couple of quick updates on OpenHands Cloud. There's, I think some folks have reported to us over the last few weeks some reliability issues around resuming conversations where occasionally they would get stuck in sort of an initialization state. We believe we've solved the core issue around that so that conversations can now resume. We are working to kind of address some additional edge cases that we've recently discovered there, but that is something that has been top of mind for us, and we're focusing on the reliability of that. We have discovered that older conversations that were connected to private repos require you to kind of refresh your Git provider's token when you load that conversation. So a quick workaround right now is using the push or pull buttons in the UI interface will force that Git token refresh, but we are putting in a permanent automated fix for that, hopefully in the next few days, but something we're still testing. So I wanted to make sure we were just communicating the awareness of that issue, and unfortunately it's been a little bit more complex than we thought, but we are on it and making sure that we can improve the overall kind of experience around resuming those older conversations. The second thing just to announce is we added a Jira Cloud integration. This is part of a larger update that we're have on the roadmap around adding additional ticketing systems. We do have plans to support Jira Data Center and Linear as well. You can see the Jira Cloud integration under the settings and integrations panel, and it allows you to basically take the context from that ticket, and if you attach an OpenHands label to that ticket, it will take the context and start a conversation around that. So definitely open to some feedback for anyone who's an early adopter of this, and would be happy to learn more about your success of it. So those are a couple updates over the last week or so, and we have a lot of more exciting things on the horizon as well. But back to you, Jamie.
Thank you so much. Yeah. please don't hesitate to reach out if you're using this Jira integration and have valuable feedback or any feedback. All feedback is valuable. And thanks so much for sharing these updates, Joe. With that, I'm going to go ahead and go to our QA. If you have any questions, feel free to unmute, drop in the chat. Sound a little bit like a broken record, but now's the chance to get them answered live. Okay, if you change your mind, feel free to just do that on the fly. We're going to go ahead and move on. Oh, Jim, yes, you have a question?
Oh, just a comment, a thought. Like I said in the chat, I have a Mac Studio M3 with 26 gigs, which I think is probably a better value for a lot of individual developers than the DGX. And so I was thinking, I should follow your instructions on getting that set up locally. And then, of course, the added spice would be a benchmark. So we would want to see some, we can compare our token rates.
I'd be super curious to see that.
Yeah, absolutely, Jim. If you go forward with this, please continue to keep us updated on your journey. And also in terms of benchmarks, feel free to collaborate with Juan. He does all of our benchmark testing, and I'm sure can help you out in that way too.
Happy to help.
Cool. All right, so moving on to community events. These are our upcoming community events. We have an MCP webinar coming up this Monday, and we'll be going over specifically the Figma and the Context 7 MCP servers, and we'll be doing a live demo of fixing a UI bug and also a dependency bug with Context 7. So should be good. There's a link to that in the presentation, so access the presentation. And then also we have an IRL event coming up in Boston. If you are in the Boston area, please come out on Monday, this coming Monday. It's going to be from 5:30 to 7:30. We're going to have our very own Robert talking with Adam Ferrari, who is an advisor at Jellyfish, which is Developer Tool Insights. So it should be a good panel discussion, as well as some network opportunities and also some live demos. And you'll be able to interact with our team like Joe, and Rohit will also be there if you have any CLI questions and or more. And then our next community call is going to be Thursday the 30th, so very spooky, at the end of October. And then in November, besides the community call, we are also participating in AI Native DevCon. It is an in-person event. It is in New York City on November 18th and 19th. We will have our CEO co-founder Robert presenting, as well as our chief architect Ray presenting. So it should be good. We don't have schedules for now, but keep your eye posted, and I will be sure to share it when I do have that information. And just one tiny note, our first community call in November will be after American Daylight Savings ends. So keep an eye out because things might be adjusted just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to mention about the AI Native DevCon. That group was started by Patrick Dubois, the founder of DevOps, the person who coined the term. And I actually, when he was first talking about putting together some conferences, we were in communication. Something he said, this is, I think, certainly before I joined OpenHands, something he said was like, I definitely don't want a bunch of vendor presentations. So it's like a really amazing vote of confidence to have two people from OpenHands doing two different presentations on this like track, not for vendor presentations. Like, I think, and we are presenting some really different content. Obviously, it would be it would even be two at the same talk if we were doing vendor presentations. But anyway, it was cool to go from that conversation to seeing two of us on the same lineup. Mine is called AI Hates Legacy Code. I'm not sure which one Robert's is.
I think I'm automating large scale refactors.
Oh yeah, we've got a few. There's at least one of those already online from maybe one from you and or Calvin, and that work is really interesting.
Cool. Thank you so much for giving us more insight on what to anticipate and what to look forward to for AI Native DevCon. And Robert and I did have the pleasure, as well as Simon, attending the in-person event in Paris last month. And like Ray said, it's definitely not vendors just shilling their product, but it's really industry leaders with insights and sharing them and having good conversations. So yeah, should be an awesome event. And that leads me to our monthly survey. So it's a 2-minute survey or less, and we would love for you to take it if you have time to do so. And it just lets us know how we are doing. It lets us know the things that we're doing great, the things we need improving upon. And if you ever have deeper insights that you would like to share, like please do not hesitate and reach out to us either through email, Slack, whatever works best for you. And then that is it. That is all we have for today. So if there's no other closing remarks or anything else, I am happy to end it here. And I just want to say thank you for everyone who attended the call, and thank you for everyone who's going to watch this later.